Welcome back to the University of Life, and today we're going to cover two really important points from the How to Change the World project. First one is all about how I structure this. I've got hundreds of really brilliant, really useful ideas, and I try to make it really practical, really easy to apply with short chapters and all. And the main structure is that first I divide your world into 5 distinct spheres of influence. And you might be thinking that the most important sphere of influence that you have is the big sphere we all live on, the whole entire world. And it's easy to see why you might think that, because there are 8 billion people who you could influence. That's huge. That's really important. But honestly, the first task I set for myself as I begin into this is to do my best to persuade you that actually the exact opposite is true. And by far, the most important sphere of influence that you have any control over is yourself. It's the first circle. The world is the last circle. And there are good reasons for this. For example, if you hope to influence the world, you would do a lot better, you'd be a lot more successful if you are or become the kind of person who has influence. And so later on, I've got dozens of ideas drawn largely from my 15-year career teaching university persuasive writing and writing for social change, strategies, awarenesses, options. It's really good. But the first part, I'm really going to focus a lot more on changing yourself and making yourself into the best kind of person you can be. Not only so that you can someday change the world, but more importantly, so you can find contentment. So you can be happy with your life. And that leads us to the second point I want to talk about today. And it's about that contentment. Contentment is actually one of the best goals you can set for yourself, to become happy with your circumstances, with who you are, to have some joy in your life. So it's really good. And furthermore, when you are content, it gives you this sense of calm. It makes you more attractive. It enhances your confidence and your charisma and your ability to change the other spheres of influence as well. But secondly, it's great to have influence and make the world a better place. It's meaningful, isn't it? It's significant. It adds a lot of value to your life, not only while you're in the midst of living it, but also as you look back on things you've done. It just makes life worthwhile. All these things, worthwhile, meaning, happiness, they're all value judgments. They are what you decide they are. And contentment is a great way to measure if you have reached a point where you can move on and focus on something else, or if there's something you want to work on a little more, to have a little more of that contentment before you start thinking about even bigger projects. But it's a two-edged sword, isn't it? Because on one hand, contentment is great. It feels good. I kind of want to be content all the time. But there's a big problem with it, a major problem. And I think this is one of the things that divides the kind of people who might watch a video like this to look for inspiration and good ideas and to help add some motivation and all. And the people who just turn it off and move on with their lives because they're like, what do I care about the world? Give me more money. Or, what do I care about growth? A lot of people are really sensitive about that. They're like, just love me the way I am. Don't tell me I need to change, because that feels like criticism. All right, that shouldn't be the case. That's a sign of maybe some complex trauma and some things you've got to get over. But growth is one of the other most meaningful things you can do with your life. It's satisfying. It's one of the 3 innate needs of human beings. So hopefully a healthy person will want to grow and learn. But the reason why it's a problem is because when you're content, sometimes you lose motivation to move forward. But luckily, there is a solution for that. The reason people who feel content lose interest in growing is because there's not a problem to solve. There's not an urgent need. There's not a drive to escape negativity and suffering. And those, we call those negative feedback loops. Those really can take credit for the vast majority of things that get done in this life is because you're hungry, you're afraid, you need shelter, you know, something's not okay, and so you're driven to do what it takes to become okay. Often that's super problematic, by the way, because some of the ways your brain tries to motivate you to take care of problems can be really debilitating. So annoying. Our subconscious brain it's so powerful, so efficient in its ways, but can also be really stupid and inefficient. So not always helpful. Anyway, the way to escape lack of motivation, because you're content, I hope you are, I hope you're well, hope you've got enough, your needs are met, you've got something to do and give you meaning. But if you are and you feel like you're stagnating, here's how to get around it. And that is to seek, don't just pay attention to the negative feedback loops, but learn the amazing, exciting joy of positive feedback loops. These are things where, you know, let me define this more clearly. A negative feedback loop is when there's a problem, you're hungry, and so you have motivation to take care of it, eat something. And as soon as you do, the negative stimulus is gone, and you're fine until your blood sugar drops again. Positive feedback loops are things where there's not a negative stimulus, there's not a problem to solve, there's an opportunity to take care of, to pursue, to chase. There's something exciting waiting out ahead of you. And if you can lock in your life, so you spend the vast majority of your energy pursuing positive feedback loops, pursuing things that you enjoy, that you love, that you find satisfying and meaningful, that's a great way to live. And when you do that, like I've been coming out here for 4 or 5 miles a day on the trails in the mornings, it is so rewarding. And when I get done, if I've been running, maybe I'm a little tired, ready for a break, but grasshopper. But if it wasn't getting hot by then, I would want to just keep on going and want more of it. So positive feedback loops never get completely satisfied, or not necessarily, you know, to some degree, sure. And it's a good way to live. All right, there are a couple key points. I actually didn't intend to go so deeply into that positive and negative feedback loop motivation so much. Let me tell you the other key point that I plan to talk about in this video, and it's a way to generate really infinite satisfaction and contentment and motivation. It's a way to wash away your fears and limitations. It's a way to heal your old traumas and fears. And unfortunately, on one hand, it's super simple. There are steps you can take to get there. On the other hand, oh, it's hard. Your brain kicks up so much resistance to this if you don't already have it. And so the thing is, I want to talk about for just a minute, and is self-love. It's how to love yourself. And the reason why it's so hard to change is because this isn't just something in your conscious mind, in your adult brain. This is something, I mean, hopefully that's a good place to start. Like, talk yourself into loving yourself. I wrote a whole book about this, Love 301, How to Love Yourself, with dozens of really good insights to talk yourself into it, and some other exercises to make it go deeper, because the deeper is where it really counts. Your limbic brain, your child brain, your emotional brain, and it has some image of your worth and your safety and your lovability, and it, above all, I think the limbic brain hates to change. It's got this one snapshot of the world, and anything which disagrees with it results in often highly, extremely uncomfortable dissonance. And that's why most people don't grow, because it's scary, it's uncomfortable, can be downright painful to change. But I'll tell you, if you want to live a life of beauty and influence and contentment, if you don't love yourself already, if you don't know how, if you don't have that deep down, and chances are everybody can learn this a little better, this is one of the most important areas to pursue to enable that to happen. So let me just make, I'm writing a whole book about this, the 12 loves, all the different things we call love. Super excited about that project, but it's another enormous one. It's gonna take me time. But let me tell you one of the key things about how to learn to love yourself. And that is that first, let's take a look at how you feel and react and think when you love someone else. This is gonna give us a template and make some good points. So one of the first things that happens, imagine you're standing there in the room and the door on the far side opens up and in walks your cathexis, this person who you love. You light up, don't you? You get excited to see them. It's this joyful reunion. You want to know how their day was. You want to just talk and get some of that good dopamine and oxytocin and everything that just, I mean, these neurochemicals which provide the contentment for us. They like control our feelings, right? And so that's how you feel. Now, it's not every day. There are some people who you love and they may walk in and you may be so frustrated with them. Like they are on your nerves, maybe because you're tired, maybe and irritable, maybe because they are irritating. They're legitimately have flaws. Of course they do. We all do. We're human. So some days you don't necessarily feel that way, but you're still committed. You're like, we're gonna work through this, we're gonna help each other grow, sometimes by exposing those very annoyances. And you'd rather be with them than without them. Or maybe you're not even with them. They're just friends or acquaintances or someone you respect or whatever. So once you get a good sense, just remember what it's like to see someone who you love. And here's the point. Self-love, loving yourself, is or should be the exact same thing. And this knowledge, I won't go on and prove it to you. I'm going to ask you to take my word for it, at least consider it for now. This knowledge gives you the power to apply it, to practice it, to give it a try it out. So for example, next time you have a minute, walk into the bathroom or wherever you've got a mirror and just look yourself in the eye and observe your reaction. Maybe you've got some of that self-love going on. Maybe you're like, I'm all right, got my health, look okay, I have a good heart, I've accomplished some good things, I'm motivated to become better. Whatever, just list some of your good traits, if you know, whatever it takes, and see if you can generate some of that self-love. Or try this one. Say, I'm committed to myself. I work hard to take care of my needs, to stand up for myself. Whatever it is you do. If it's hard for you, oh boy, then this is the most important thing you can do. You have to conquer this before you try and move on with anything else, even with just surviving, getting through the day. Please don't give up until you at least begin to get a handle on this. It is so crucial for your well-being and for the rest of the world around you. This is why I'm writing this book. It's not so you can be awesome and get your way and change the world. It's so that I can live in a world more full of people who are more actualized and alive and making improvements and changing the things that need to be changed. And people who are more joyful and content. Oh, that's who I want to be surrounded by. That's what I'm looking for in the world. So it's really crucial that you get a handle on this. I wish I could think of a really nice, effective, like stern way to say, for you people who struggle with it, very common, to just say, stop it. Don't argue. Do not argue against this. argue for it. Because if you think you're not lovable, if you think, no, but I have all these flaws, if you think the best way to motivate yourself is by beating yourself up and criticizing yourself, let me say this as kindly and abruptly and unmistakably as I can. You're wrong. That is wrong. That is not the way human brains work. So stop that and try a new strategy. Try loving yourself instead and see where that gets you. It'll get you a lot farther. And it may be really difficult, like I said at first, it may be really uncomfortable. If you are experiencing that dissonance, bravo, good for you, because what does that mean? It means you're doing it right. It means you are confronting the self-doubt or the limiting beliefs about how awesome you are. Let me tell you, if you were walking on this trail the other direction today and I ran into you and we stopped to talk, I promise you I would see so much good in you. It would be the easiest thing in the world, well, to love you. I'm sure there are some people who are the exception and it would be significantly more difficult, but that's so rare. It's so easy for someone who knows how to love to look at you and care about you. Now, you may say, oh yeah, well then why don't people do that more often? Yeah, I know, it's a problem. This world is messed up. Everyone's so busy. Especially if you live in a city, you can't take the time to like really see everyone you pass. I don't know if it's exhausting because it can be really empowering. It can be exhilarating to see the good in people and love them. But most people, maybe their emotional buckets are not full enough to really overflow. That's when it makes it really easy to love other people. Or maybe they just have these ideas like, that's not my job. I'm only supposed to love my family and my friends. Everyone else can suck it. And that's, we're products of our environment. And that's the way they were raised, and that's a perspective. But don't worry about other people and their limitations. We gotta start where we're at. That's another thing that love does, by the way. It starts where we're at. Hey, here's a phrase. If you want a target for loving yourself, adopt this wholeheartedly, no questions. And this phrase is radical acceptance. Radical self-acceptance. Absolute self-acceptance. Like no matter how screwed up and stupid you are, or fat or ugly or old or young or poor, whatever it is you tell yourself that makes yourself not lovable, doesn't matter. You start by accepting yourself. And here's how love can get away with this, because that's like the first thing love does. The third thing that love does is that it wants you to grow, because it sees your potential. It sees what you could be. It sees how joyful and amazing you could be. And it hungers for it, for you to see this in yourself and become it and just make steps toward it. And one of the best ways, one of the first most important place to start to help encourage you to be your awesomest self is to have you accept yourself and love yourself as you are. You don't have to be perfect to love yourself. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be like maybe in high school where like the popular kids were beautiful or rich or athletes or talented or just so confident already. I mean, that's great, and it does, to be honest, it does make it easier for people to love you, I guess, at least if you're not snotty and arrogant. Some people don't care about that, other people do. But you don't have to be that to love yourself. Those are just, few traits which influence the whole connection equation. I wrote a whole book about this, the connection equation, and I'm not going to go on that tangent right now. Read the book; it's awesome. It's really fun read, good, lots of insights. But anyway, love yourself. Look for the good in yourself. Try to generate some of that excitement for yourself. If it's uncomfortable, keep it up. You're on the right track. You can do it. I'll admit though, these changes can take a long time and they can be painful. But what else are you going to do with your life? You're here. this is gonna bless your life, everything else in it so much. So if I talk anymore, I'm afraid I'll just be rambling. So let's pause for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having any desire to be awesome and to recognize your awesomeness. Don't worry about getting proud and cocky and arrogant in the first place. If you're not already proud and cocky and arrogant, there's a fairly low chance you're going to become that. In the second place, people who are cocky and arrogant and proud and selfish, they really need to love themselves more. They are trying in the wrong areas to get some of that contentment, to get other people to love them and fill their bucket. Now, when you were a little kid, that was totally appropriate. You need your parents and people to tell you you're awesome. Nobody starts out loving themselves automatically. You learn that in context of your relationships. But now that you've grown up, you can't depend on that anymore. You've got to do it for yourself. So get on it. Good luck. Oh, I wish you the best. And help other people do it as well, would you? Because they could use a little bit of your support and encouragement, and just see the good in them. Just hope for their well-being and happiness. The more you love other people, oh, that's another great tip. The more you practice on other people, that's one of the best ways to learn to love yourself, is to practice on other people. See the good in them, show some interest, have some curiosity, and as your brain learns the reward, the positive feedback loop of loving people, it's delicious, and it'll be so much easier for you to apply it back to yourself as well. So, okay, this time I promise I really am done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for share your insights, share your experience in the comments. Thanks for sharing this with your friends and anybody who you think might benefit, so they can learn to treat you better as well, right? And we'll see you next time. Till then, live smart, live happy, love yourself, change the world.
I wanna grow